welcome back to the Scorecard Podcast. This is episode 9. I'm back here with Gabe.
What's up, everybody?
And today we're going to do our playoff predictions. We're recording this the Friday before the playoff starts, so let's keep that in mind.
Yep. What is it? Tonight we're going to be watching the Warriors versus the Suns.
Yep.
And we're also going to be watching the 76ers versus Charlotte.
Magic and Hornets.
Oh, yes, Magic and Hornets. That's correct.
Right.
All right, and a lot has already happened since then. I mean, if you're tuning in to last episode, I was talking a lot of smack on Darius Garland.
Oh, wait, that's going to be posted after this video.
Yeah, so if you're tuning in to those hot takes,
Next episode.
exactly, next episode. I'm sorry, Darius Garland. But you are eliminated from the playoffs, and I still think LaMelo Ball's better.
Just watch the video. It'll make more sense to you guys. So, who do you think's going to win those games? We can start with that.
Okay, so we've got the Warriors versus the Phoenix Suns. Obviously, I'm a Warriors fan, right? So,
Yes.
Eliminating any bias here. We have, from the Phoenix Suns, right, Dylan Brooks is back, obviously. We have Devin Booker. We have Jalen Green. Just kind of naming out the starting lineup here.
They played well last game, but
Yeah, they did play well.
He had a master class, and
The Trailblazers have been
things happen.
low-key a sleeper team throughout the season, and I'm glad that, they've kind of pushed their way towards the playoffs.
Yep.
Unlucky that they're against the Spurs, but, that's just kind of the nature of the West at this point.
It's true.
So we'll see what happens there. I'm going to say the Spurs win that series. But going back to the Suns and Warriors at hand here. So who's their starting center right now? We've got, Mason Plumlee, Mark Williams, Kamal Maluak.
What? No, it's I can't say his name for the life of me, but Osa, I can't say his name. I can't say it.
Yeah. Okay. So we have them, and of course with the Warriors. I mean, during the Warriors versus Clippers game, Gavin called me in the middle of the fourth quarter. I saw the Clippers were up 13, and I was like, oh man, I don't know about this. And he goes, if you run here, you could catch the last minutes, the 4 minutes of the fourth quarter. And I said, no, I'll turn on the TV right now. From then till the end of the game, wow. Can I just tell you, I am inspired every day by Stephen Curry, Al Horford, Guy Santos, Draymond Green, and Kristaps Porzingis.
No pods.
Say again?
No pods.
Pods, keep passing the ball. Good job. But yeah, looking at the way the Warriors are versus the Phoenix Suns, it'll definitely be a good match. Maybe obviously this is biased, but I want the Warriors to win. I think the Warriors will win because they still have the greatest shooter of all time.
I think for this take, we'll just pick the Warriors. I mean, they have the best player on the court, and I'm a big believer in if you have the best player on the court, sometimes you're just gonna win the game. So I think the Warriors can win. Are they gonna win? I'm not sure, but they could.
Moving on to the East, we've got Magic versus Hornets. What do you think, Gavin?
I think the Magic overrated. Okay, so we got through the play-in. I mean, now we can actually start with the playoffs. Should we start with the West or the East?
Let's go. You know what? Let's go with the East first. Let's talk about first seed Detroit Pistons.
So they'll be playing the Hornets in this scenario. I got the Pistons in 5.
Yes, and talking a little bit more about the Pistons. I mean, what do you think about the NBA naming them as a pretender rather than a contender?
I think still very inexperienced team. They played last year, right? But when it comes to the playoffs, it's a whole different beast. yeah, you can play really well in the regular season, but I think you need your role players to step up, and we'll see how they fare. I think they'll be fine in the first round, but also depending on Cade. We'll see how Cade does coming back, but it should be fun.
I think
It should be fun.
I mean, especially for the first round, I think the Pistons definitely take it. They do rely very heavily on Cade, and
I mean, they're doing well without
Yeah.
him, so I can't
that's true.
knock them at all. But
you know, I mean, people can make the argument, oh, it's like the OKC Thunder, like last year, you know, they didn't have as much experience in the playoffs.
I'd argue they did because they lost in the year before that in the second round, and they came back the next year and were perfectly fine. So, but that's them. Thunder just a good team, so
That's true.
it's different.
So yeah, Pistons, we got you guys for the first.
Pistons in 5.
Cavs versus Toronto. What are your thoughts?
I'm not very high on the Raptors. My team, the Knicks, can beat you 13 straight times. Clearly, you're not that good. And the Cavs, they're supposed to be winning. I think they have that mindset.
Hey,
They're supposed
Uno and Spider are gonna take it. Uno and Spider are gonna take that.
I probably got the Cavs in like 5 or 6. Raptors still, they're scrappy, but
Maybe this is a hot take. I think the Cavs are gonna sweep them.
that depends how RJ Barrett plays.
All right, this is the one. This is the big one for you. Knicks versus Hawks.
See, I didn't want to make this video because I don't want this to go on the internet. As a Knicks fan, I don't want to jinx anything, but this is probably the most important playoff run of my entire lifetime. Essentially, for the Knicks, it's finals or bust.
I think they
at least
win.
making it there.
Yeah.
I think they'll win, but I know they're gonna find a way to make it the most excruciating way possible. Like realistically, the Knicks should win in like 5 games, but they're gonna make it the most gut-wrenching 6-game series. And it's in the script.
But I mean, just looking at it, right? The last time the Hawks and Knicks went against each other in the playoffs, like that was with Elfrid Payton
Yeah.
as point guard. Like there's a different team now, right? I mean, they didn't even play against Mitchell Robinson because he was hurt, right?
Yep, they're trying to shape this narrative that it's gonna be the same thing as last time. Last time we had Elfrid Payton.
And they had Trae Young.
We had Elfrid Payton as our
Exactly.
point guard.
Now the tides have shifted, right? Obviously we don't know what'll happen with Jalen Johnson, but against the Knicks, the current Knicks, nah.
Like
5.
The Hawks are still a scrappy team, but the Knicks are supposed to win the series. I hope all of the New York Knicks organization understands what's at stake here in this playoff run, what us as fans are expecting out of you. I hope that gets into their head because this should not be a series. But I go Knicks in 6 because they don't like to win in 5 games.
Next we got Boston versus the 76ers. I think it's a clear choice here. Boston. Joe Mazzulla is, that is some coach y'all got right now. I mean, I remember I'm friends with like a really diehard Celtics fan. He sent me a post being like, "Oh man, like look at the starting lineup," and I was like, that game's not gonna do good. Then Luka Garza drops 30. Ron Harper gets 27. Like Baylor Shireman gets like something in the 20s as well. That Joe Mazzulla knows how to work his team. I mean, they've been working without Jason Tatum, and they will continue to work better now that he's back. Obviously, we'll be facing a full Boston squad. So when healthy, I think Boston has a really good chance in the whole playoffs in general.
All right, so history shows the Sixers aren't going to win the series. I can't remember the last time they beat the Celtics in a playoff series. It's got to be like at least 4 straight times the Celtics have won. History shows, or not even history, just this season, it should show that the Celtics are heavily favored. But if Joel Embiid comes back healthy enough to play this series, I may or may not see the Sixers winning this series.
Really? If Joel Embiid comes back, which, in all honesty, like I had him on my fantasy team, he's been playing games. I think he'll come back for the playoffs.
And conventional wisdom would tell you that the Celtics are going to win the series. But I don't see a scenario. Let's just say he does play. do we really think Neemias Queta is gonna guard Joel Embiid for 30 minutes of the game? We think Neemias Queta can hold Joel Embiid down.
But then who's stopping Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum?
Well, I'm not worried about whatever Sixers defense, whatever. I'm worried about the Celtics stopping the Sixers. Is he gonna stop Joel Embiid? And I'm a huge Joel Embiid hater, but I understand the guy can get it done. So, but
Fair point.
Celtics in 7.
In 7.
If Embiid plays, if he doesn't play, it's Celtics in 5.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Now let's move on to the West. So looking at here, got Oklahoma City Thunder versus
Would be the Warriors.
would be the
in this
Warriors,
scenario.
and I'm a Warriors fan, right? But I'm also a realist.
Yes.
That's OKC in 4.
Maybe the Warriors can scrap a game, but
That's my hope.
It'd be wishful thinking.
Honestly, if the Warriors win one game against OKC, I am happy for this season, and then we just go back to retooling, back to the drawing board.
Retooling.
Exactly. Next up, we've got the Lakers versus the Rockets. Now, I think I've said this.
I have my pick.
Yeah, I've said this in like a previous episode that's already out, but Katie's burner account is probably right.
Yeah.
I'm going with Lakers.
That was awesome. Gonna pick the Lakers. And even if Luka or Reeves don't play, I would still honestly pick the Lakers and let's go with 7. I would pick the Lakers.
It's looking optimistic for Luka to come back, and if Luka, Reeves, and LeBron are on that court, then it's a no-brainer from here. Lakers, and honestly, Lakers in 5.
I would say Lakers in 5, but it tells you a lot about the Rockets that we're picking a 41-year-old LeBron James to beat them in a year that's supposed to be going all in.
Exactly. It's a shame too that they didn't have Fred VanVleet this year. Maybe that would have changed things. And obviously, with the burner account and issues, that will screw up a lot of team chem. So.
But I can also see the Rockets just winning the series. I mean, if they can be cohesive and actually show up. So,
yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised.
All right. Next up, we've got Nuggets versus the Timberwolves.
I'm going to go with the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets have a very complete team. They're all healthy now. They should, beat this Timberwolves team. I just think they're more balanced. You have the best player on the court, Jokic. So the Nuggets should get their lick back, hopefully.
I'm going to be a devil's advocate. I'll go with the dark horse here. I'll go with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and here's the reason why. Obviously, the Nuggets have been dealing with injuries throughout, and they played with each other, for years before, like Christian Braun, Jamal Murray. But with the addition of Cameron Johnson and a few other pieces, like Bruce Brown was on the Raptors for a while, but obviously it takes time for people to adjust into a system. Now, it's like we're considering how is Peyton Watson, with the jump that he's taken, how is he going to fit within the system? And looking at the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? Although Anthony Edwards might not be within the running for All NBA or MVP anymore, the Timberwolves have been a more cohesive team throughout the whole season. They've known how to play with each other. I mean, obviously Anthony Edwards is has always been a baller. He will still be a baller in the playoffs. We've seen that from time to time. Obviously without Nickeil Alexander-Walker, some key other pieces that they had from last season, it'll be interesting to see what they're going to be putting on the table for this season. But, I know with Nasri, Dante, DiVincenzo, they'll be able to, have something a little bit more cohesive there.
No, I think the Nuggets, this is the best team they had around Jokic. I would argue better than their championship run a few years ago. Because you have a lot of shooters now. You have Cam Johnson mentioned, Tim Hardaway Jr.'s good role player off the bench. Christian Brown's doing his thing. Brucey B is back on the team.
Exactly. Well, collectively though, then this is my point. I'll ask you, collectively, how long have they really played together? And do you think
They were on a really good streak then this season, so I'm not too worried about that. And then you have Jamal Murray who shows up in the playoffs every single time. And
oh yeah.
I think the Nuggets should win this series, but the Timberwolves they made a conference finals 2 years in a row for a reason, so it should be close.
Anthony Edwards, man, the truth.
I say Nuggets in 6.
All right, finally, we have the Spurs versus the Blazers, and I've already talked about what I'm picking.
Yeah, I'd say Spurs in 4. I can't see the Blazers winning the game.
Yep, me neither.
Sorry, Blazers.
So, Wemby, good job. All right, we're going on to the second round of the playoffs. So with this one, we have the Pistons versus the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Would you want me to go first on this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cavs in 6.
Yep, I agree. Uno, Spida, and a lot of the guys actually on the Cavaliers, they have a lot more playoff experience. One, obviously, this time around, especially with James Harden, I hope the lights are not too bright for my GOAT Jared Allen. But in this case, when you're relying on one, which is Cade Cunningham, versus a team that relies on, the defense of Evan Mobley, the defense of Jared Allen, and then obviously the offense of both Spida and James Harden. There's no question that there's a lot more, especially diversity within the starting lineup of the Cavaliers, and they have the backup pieces as well, like Jalen Tyson, to really bolster, the bench, the second unit, and so Cavs are deeper, more diverse.
I just think the Pistons, sure, they've won a lot of games, but when it comes playoff time, you need that second scoring option. And, Jalen Duren's having a very good season, but if let's say it's 5 minutes left in the game, are you going to expect Jalen Duren to get you a bucket? I don't see that happening. And I don't think the Pistons have enough in terms of secondary players to get it done. I know Dennis Jenkins having a great year, but this is his first time in the playoffs, first off.
Exactly. And then Dennis Jenkins is gonna have to go against a lot of different guards that have the experience, like Keon Ellis, Dennis Schroeder. It's hard to match production like that when you're basically, it's like a 1v, 2, 3, with Jalen Tyson.
I'm thinking the Cavs, they're playing with that desperation. This is like the next finals or bust. They put everything on the table for this year, so.
Exactly. Right before we started recording the playoffs, I got the notification, right, that the Cavaliers are going to be interested in, shopping around Donovan Mitchell if he doesn't sign the extension. So this is the do or die year for the Cavaliers. And I think that desperation will take them over the edge. I saw a clip where the Cavs were doing the playoff practices, and Daquan was on the ground. So, they've been cooking up something in the lab for sure.
Yeah, I'm probably saying the Cavs are gonna win this one.
Boston versus Knicks, a rematch in the second round.
I think I'm gonna lose my mind watching this.
We're gonna see what'll happen.
You can go first. You can say what you want.
You want me to
say.
go first? Okay, sure.
I'll say my thoughts on this after you go.
Yeah. It depends how far Boston goes, right? If Joel Embiid comes back and forces them to 7, they're going to be a lot more tired than the Knicks will be, even if they do go to 6, God forbid, right?
It's happening.
So they will be a more tired team, and obviously, we can attack them in terms of... You, I guess the Knicks can attack them in terms of, going towards the paint, right? Because without Vucevic, what's Neemias Queta really going to do against Karl Anthony Towns, Mitchell Robinson?
Like downplaying Neemias Queta. He's actually playing really well.
No, he's doing really well.
I'd be surprised
really
if he
well.
holds his own, and I think he will, honestly. But just hypothetically.
Yeah, hypothetically.
Sorry, Neemias Queta. Just gonna put that on record. Okay.
No, Neemias Queta, you took a great step up for the Boston Celtics. I have no problem with that. But also, these are just well-established players in the playoffs that we've seen, like Mitchell Robinson and Karl Anthony Towns from last year. It'll be an interesting matchup. I am inclined to say Knicks will win because obviously they've lost a lot of key pieces this year, right? With Kristaps gone, Drew gone, Al Horford gone. Jason Tatum is still working his way back from the Achilles injury, like it normally takes people a lot longer to come back from an Achilles injury, and like he won't be playing at the production that a lot of people would expect he probably will once the playoffs hit. Obviously Jaylen Brown is capable of picking up the slack. We've seen that now as his little MVP candidate reign. So while they are a great team, the Knicks have had a full year at this point to really develop together. They've really upgraded their pieces since last year as well. We've gotten, Jordan Clarkson, Jose Alvarado. So the bench has definitely become more diverse, obviously, with Mike Brown's system. We're going to be playing the bench a lot more. And so the starters won't be as tired. They can have a lot more time to cook. And it's all about putting the faith as well, and those people like Tyler Kolek as well has been taking the step up, Mohamed Diawara. So yeah, give me the Knicks in 6.
So I'm a Knicks fan, obviously. So last year that series was spectacular, great watch, and a lot of Knicks fans think this because we won last year, we can beat them again this year. But I see it from a realist perspective. I think last year is less of us beating them it was more of them beating themselves than us beating them. If you look at those first 2 games, we were getting killed for the first 3 quarters in each of those games. And it took a miracle comeback in both games to win. And sure, it's a win, right? But it's not because the Knicks were the better team, it's because the Celtics collapsed on themselves. And then obviously game 4, we were also losing that game, and then we came back and won again. So 3 out of our 4 wins came from comebacks. And also because the Celtics just choked. They did not play well. And now we go back into this year. Now we look at this year. Obviously, the Celtics lost a lot of pieces. They are missing Tatum for 60-70% of the year. Versus the Knicks, who have on paper they've improved their roster. They have, I would guess, a better coach than Mike Brown. But again, we're still in the same spot. A year later, we're still a 3 seed. Boston's a 2 seed. So it makes me worried about the series again because on paper there's supposed to be improvements, but again we're in the same scenario where Boston's the 2 and we're the 3. So I think it really comes down to the Knicks because on paper they have the better roster. If you look at Boston's roster, objectively you don't see, in my opinion, a championship roster outside of your core 3 and Jaylen Brown, Tatum, and Derek White. And you look at the Knicks, had the same exact core as last year, adding a few pieces here and there. So I think it really comes down to the Knicks because you can't rely on Boston shooting 20% from 3 in the first 2 games in Boston. You can't rely on...
They lost some of their shooters too.
You can't rely on,
Derek White slinging.
Derek White's having a terrible year, shooting-wise. But you can't rely on all these variables. You have to control what you can control. And the Knicks, they have their best roster in my lifetime I've seen in years. And it really comes down to, can they put it all together for this playoff run? Because we've had issues from almost every single player. Mikal Bridges, we know the story. Cat's been having, I can't even blame Cat. Cat's doing a lot of BS from everybody and everything. Mike Brown's doing Mike Brown things. So I think it really comes down to not just this series, but one entire playoff run. Can they put it together for, let's say, 16 wins? Can they get 16 wins playing their best basketball? And for this sake, I'm going to pick the Knicks. I'm a Knicks fan. But I would also not be surprised if Boston wins the series.
All right, and that concludes the East for the second round. Now we can go over back to the West, where we are seeing Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Los Angeles Lakers. Cam, would you like to begin?
I want to say the Lakers have a chance, but I think the Thunder are too good.
Yeah, I think the Lakers will steal 1 or 2 games.
I would say 1 or 2 games, but I think the Thunder should beat the Lakers in the second round.
Realistically, Oklahoma City in 5 or 6.
Yep, not much else to be said. Okay, so.
All right, now our consensus here. So, I mean, realistically, I was just devil's advocate for the Minnesota Timberwolves because I think it'll be a better series than people will expect with this series. But if the Nuggets were to win and be against the Spurs, regardless of whether it's the Timberwolves, regardless of whether it's the Nuggets, actually, I think it's still the Spurs.
It'll be a good series, though.
Oh, it would. It would for sure.
I would say it would actually go to 7 if it's Spurs and Nuggets play second round.
All right. That was a quick West run. But, I mean, with the strength of the West, right? Like, I think, a lot of these in the West especially will become very good series, but it always comes down to whether or not, it always comes down to those top 2, right? The Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Spurs, because their dominance, especially within their own conference, within the league in general, has been on an incredible level this season, and it's always scary to know that they have more to give in the playoffs.
That's true.
All right, so now we're gonna go to the conference finals.
Yep.
Where we would have the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
I think Boston would have been their hardest matchup if the Knicks move on.
Yep.
So the Cavaliers, I mean, I thought the same thing, honestly, when the Pacers were in those conference finals with the Knicks. But this time, I really think that the Knicks.
I think it's all about matchups. The Knicks did not match up very well with the Pacers last year. It was very apparent they did not match up well. But I think with the Cavs, they should be able to match up well with the Cavs. Again, this prediction is very based on if the Knicks can put it all together. And we're going to assume they will. And if they do, they should beat the Cavs. And I would say 6.
Amazing.
Okay, maybe a game 7. But the Knicks are going to the NBA Finals, I hope.
And then finally, we got, for the conference finals in the West, OKC versus the Spurs.
I don't put a lot of stock into regular season series or wins. Like last year, the Knicks, they lost 4 games to Boston and they beat them. They lost every game to the Thunder and all the good teams. But I do think the Spurs are one of the teams that actually match up very well with the Thunder, and I think they can beat them. Realistically, can beat the Thunder.
I could see that as well. You've seen it. I mean, Wemby's hunger, especially with that rivalry against Chet Holmgren, right? When you see those games against the Oklahoma City Thunder, it's like they're bringing a dog out in Victor Wembanyama, and that always created the culture with the Spurs to really go hard on the Oklahoma City Thunder. And so while the Spurs have had that dog mentality against them this entire season, I can see that transferring over to the playoffs, even intensifying if they get to this point. And the Oklahoma City Thunder, their mindset towards the Spurs hasn't been as intense or competitive. They still are, obviously, and they're gonna bring something new to the table once the playoffs hit, and then if they are to match up against each other in the conference finals. But I mean, the fact of the matter is the Spurs' intensity, the Spurs want, and Victor Wembanyama's mindset towards completely dominating the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think that's what we'll take away from this.
We didn't even mention much in this podcast about Wemby. He's arrived, and it's his first time in the playoffs, and I imagine he's going to give it everything he's got. And this is just the start of his career, and he's that guy.
Yes, he is.
And I'm going to trust him in the playoffs if it comes down to it. I'm trusting Wemby.
Wemby is truly a generational player, and obviously, hitting a milestone like this is already, enough fuel to the fire for Wemby to completely just, show us something that we've never seen before. And God forbid, he has any injuries throughout this run, but yeah, I think totally healthy and motivated Wemby will be the X factor here.
I'm saying Spurs in 6.
I agree. That leads us to the finals, where we have the Spurs versus the Knicks.
Yep.
We've never had this matchup before.
We have.
We have.
And last time the Knicks made the finals, they played the Spurs in '99.
Oh wow!
It'll be
Okay.
full circle.
Yeah, there's something in the cards already then. So, looking at that series, so 1999, that must have been David Robinson.
Yep.
Well, obviously they won, but
I mean, that season was a shortened season. The Knicks were like the 8th seed that year, but the difference between like the 1 and 8 and the East for like a few games, so it wasn't really, a big difference. But we're talking Spreewell, Allen Houston, the back end of Pat Ewing's career, Larry Johnson, LJ. That Knicks team made the finals. Long time ago, though. Long time ago.
oh, for sure. And I guess now, looking at this matchup, predictably 27 years later,
Damn.
how
Damn.
how do you think that the Knicks would fare against the new Spurs? You think we're gonna see a comeback or a repeat of history?
I think it's one of the matchups that the Knicks actually fare very well with. They beat them twice, 2 out of 3 times. If you count the NBA Cup Finals, beat them 2 out of 3 times. For some reason, the Knicks just play really well against the Spurs, and it's all about matchups sometimes when it comes down to it.
Oh yeah. Well, you see, like we're already talking about Wemby, and let's say Wemby and Luke Cornett match up against Mitchell Robinson and Cat. That's already.
You don't have to mention Mitchell Robinson, bro. I love that guy.
Oh yeah. No, Mitchell Robinson has been doing, always.
If Mike
been doing
Brown
good things.
actually plays this guy more minutes than he should, the Knicks will be so much better. Please, Mike Brown.
And I think he would. I think he would, especially in the Boston series. I think Mitchell Robinson, like obviously last year, Mitchell Robinson, along with Mikal Bridges, was that X factor in especially the Miracle wins. Having those 2 steals against, Jaylen Brown stealing Jason Tatum's ball, was the product of Mikal Bridges and Mitchell Robinson, and coming into the Spurs, obviously, I think mindsets, can always take you so far, and I think the Oklahoma City Thunder will wear the Spurs out. Both physically and mentally, and the mental game here is important, right? Because the intensity that they bring to the Oklahoma City Thunder series, where there's more to give, it's going to be Wemby's first time. I think they might be putting too many eggs in one basket, and if they're against the New York Knicks, then it'll be a matchup for sure, because then it'll be De'Aaron Fox versus Jalen Brunson. It'll be Stephon Castle versus Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby versus Harrison Barnes, or Keldon Johnson.
That's chicken, baby. That's chicken.
Exactly. So, predictably, are we choosing the Knicks to win?
Well, at this point, I have to pick the Knicks to win. I can't put them this far just to not pick them a win. So.
Exactly. Hey, knock on wood. so that the Knicks, make it. And, obviously, if you're watching this, right, and knowing that he's a Knicks fan, just know, hey, one, there's a Warriors fan over here, and, hopefully these explanations of what we're trying to say here have,
They're clearly biased in these predictions.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we're not looking at any like deep stats or anything. I mean, most of this is, the eye test, and obviously hindsight will be 2020 once the playoff begins, because we never know, right? Maybe God forbid, maybe the Suns might win against the Warriors, or maybe Joel Embiid actually, beats the Boston Celtics. And
It's probably not gonna happen, guys.
yeah, exactly.
Wishful thinking.
Now we're going to hypotheticals though. If it's a Knicks versus 76ers second round.
I'll actually lose 10 years off my life watching it.
Yeah, but who would win?
I'm still playing the Knicks.
Okay, perfect. I would div too.
They still match up very well with the Sixers.
All right, perfect. Yeah, and so obviously, again, playoffs. Every team will always and forever have more to give. We've seen this time and time again with the Pacers, with the Warriors back in 22, with the Bucks. They'll always have something to give. And this year's no exception. The Spurs, the second seed Boston Celtics, the 76ers with VJ Edgecombe and trying to come back with Joel Embiid. The Nuggets, who have just come back, fully healthy, had that great run at the end. The Timberwolves, trying to show that they're still, one of those contenders, even if their star player might not be in contention for MVP anymore. The Rockets are trying to prove KD's burner account wrong.
Probably not.
Luka, LeBron, and Reeves will have had this, whole year together. It's about time they show, what that trio, with a year can really do in the playoffs. Obviously, OKC is trying to run it back. Warriors are trying to win. But with the absence of Jimmy, that'll be a little bit hard, right? Atlanta Hawks are trying to prove to the world that, hey, we're without Trey now, but look at Jalen Johnson, right? Obviously, the Knicks, it's a do or die season. This really dictates what they're going to be doing with the team moving forward. I mean, as do all playoffs do, right? But this one's no exception. And then the Raptors. I just hung up on a friend, but the Raptors, obviously with RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, they're gonna try to do something, right? But obviously, Cleveland Cavaliers. Uno wants to win one, Spider wants to win one, and the Detroit Pistons are trying to, all of this. Give me 1 second before we end this. The Detroit Pistons, there's gonna be, they're the first seed. This is the first time that's happening in a while. Cade Cunningham is doing great, great things, and this is their time to really prove that, hey, although the NBA gave us the Pretender title, here's our time to prove that wrong, now until the end of Cade's tenure.
Yeah, I think the playoffs, it's a lot different than the regular season. Obviously, stakes are heightened. Some players perform better when stakes are higher versus others who crumble. Joel Embiid. But I think that's where you're going to see teams' flaws be very heightened, especially when it comes down to defense. A lot of mismatch hunting. Can your bench, lead you further than you want, further down in the playoffs? This comes down to a lot of just X's and O's. That's it, honestly. And I think relatively there's 8 teams, I would say, that can realistically actually win an NBA title, which is it's fun to watch. It's fun when the NBA has parity. Sorry to say, the Warriors and Cavs that era. Although it was fun to watch Curry win a lot of rings, but it wasn't very fun to watch in the playoffs. It's like you knew who was gonna win before the start of the season.
Yeah, I appreciate the diversity now, especially the talent is ever growing.
So now, obviously, in the 2020s, you have a new champion every single year, and a lot of teams, more than just like 2 or 3, that have a legit shot at winning a title, which, it's fun to watch. And unfortunately, my team's in the playoffs, so it's going to be a little bit of a different perspective watching the playoffs versus, let's say I'm like a Kings fan. I could care less about the playoffs, so I'm just, instead of enjoying basketball, I have to sweat it out. But that's what you sign up when you're a fan of
Augustine Magapan.
410.
If you want to check out his music, exit out August.
Let's go in there.
So, obviously, he's over there being a chud playing Brawl Stars. All right, guys. So, we're here. This is our 4'11 roommate, Augustine Magapan. Please say hi to the microphone.
Hello, guys. I'm not 4'11. I'm a little bit taller than that, but yeah.
Just a little. Speaks loads. Okay. What his height is.
All right, so you can do your whole bracket or just pick who you think's gonna win.
This kind of looks confusing.
It's really not.
So. I like the Rockets because they're pretty cool. Reminds me of Ben because of Amen Thompson. And Reed Shepherd, I like Reed Shepherd, but
You think Reed Shepherd's here?
I don't think they're gonna win.
Factor?
Well, I don't think they're gonna win. They're just, I feel like a little bit weak.
True.
Everyone's talking about what's his name, Alfred Sengun.
Yeah.
Alperen. I don't know how to say it, but
Yeah, Alperen.
yeah, everyone says that he's fraud. Like he just uses his body, but there's no technique or like anything. I like the Spurs. The Spurs are pretty cool. They have Stefan Castle, but yeah, they have.
So you think they'll win?
I think the Spurs, because I know how much Victor Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren are like, how do you explain it? Like
They're beefing.
they're not, they say
They're rivals. They're rivals.
yeah. But a little bit of rage bait left and right. But I think Victor Wembanyama would want to go like Super Saiyan on Chet Holmgren, because it's Chet Holmgren. For the East side, my phone's about to fall.
Who do you think's gonna win out of the East?
The East, obviously I want the Knicks to win because we're from New York. You're not from New York, but you're technically in New York. You are in New York.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're gonna live here in the summer for New York.
Oh.
Yep.
You need to say that.
You got an internship in New York.
Alright, so now
Yep.
pick your team, brother.
But yeah, Knicks. There's no way they don't lose. Like, there's no way they wouldn't win against like the Hawks, right?
You'd be surprised.
Well, yeah, that's their antics, bro. It's always like a Looney Tune show with them.
True.
Like,
Hey, it ain't 2021 no more.
yeah, I know. They got a good team. They call me Josh Hart. That's Jalen Brunson. And we got Mikal Bridges right here.
Mikal Bridges on a good day. Mikal Bridges on a good day.
On a great day. Gabe is consistent, bro. He's like that one Shea
Alright,
Gilgeous Alexander
buddy,
quote.
stick to the.
I always
You know what? I always appreciate the hype up, man.
Okay, but yeah, they have what? Jalen Johnson, what's his name? Dyson Daniels.
Sorry, give him.
They have Okongwu.
Daniels,
Okongwu. I like Okongwu. From I think Chino Hills era.
Yep, that's correct.
But
who's winning the East?
I don't think it's strong. So maybe Knicks will move up. Cavs, Raptors. I don't know. They might have to drug test Scotty Barnes if he doesn't do anything like stupid. So if Scotty Barnes is locked in, I don't think he's actually there. That's a different person.
But Scotty Barnes versus James Harden.
But yeah, Cavs versus Scotty Barnes and the team. Montverde. Shout out to Benjamin Ung.
Alright, man.
I think-
pick who's coming out of the East.
Wait, bro, I'm analyzing.
Yeah,
it.
you gotta give him some time to cook. You gotta give him some time.
I could do.
The run time's getting close to 50 minutes.
Okay. I want Scotty Barnes to win low key because I love Scotty Barnes more than my boy Donovan Mitchell.
Why do you like?
Now we got the Boston Celtics.
Because he's funny.
If the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks are facing against each other, who's winning?
Okay, Jason Tatum is like nerfed already, so we have to wait to see what happens. We don't know how he's gonna play. Derek White is just gonna do some good Derek White stuff. Jaylen Brown should be in Nassau, but Jaylen Brown, is there doing Jaylen Brown things. What was it there? What's his name? Oh my God, I'm blanking out.
Peyton Pritchard, Neemias
I was about to
Queta.
say Richard Payton. I was like, who the fuck is that? But
Pritchard.
yeah, Pritchard Payton. Yeah, not Richard. Fuck, whatever. Yeah, I think he's good too. He's a good 6-man. And then the center, Quentin, I don't know what his name is. Queta.
Neemias Queta.
Yeah, he's pretty good too. But it just depends on how their mentality is gonna roll out.
Sounds weird.
Detroit Pistons, Cade and them. Cade is there. Tobias Harris.
Sorry.
Say it.
Nope.
He hates Tobias Harris, everybody.
That's true.
That's pretty
Yeah,
true.
but he was pretty good in fantasy, so I don't blame him. He's pretty good in fantasy basketball, so let's see how he does in the playoffs.
Somehow he won our fantasy league.
Because I have the best ball knowledge.
All right, can you pick who's winning?
All right, fine. Knicks versus Detroit Pistons. That's gonna be like the finals for the East Conference, and then after that, it's gonna be Knicks versus Spurs. And then if Karl Anthony Towns just does some Karl Anthony Towns stuff, we might not win. I'm not gonna lie.
So if Karl Anthony Towns doesn't do Karl Anthony
No,
Towns,
I'm telling you, because Karl Anthony Towns is pretty good. I just don't know.
he's great. Yeah.
They're just like a bunch of like brothers together. Like routing each other up and stuff like that. Rowdying up. I don't know if that's a word, but like they're bickering. There you go, bickering. They can't bicker if they want to win. You know what I mean?
Sure.
If they're a family, they have to act more than like a family.
Wow.
They have to be. Wait.
That is deep words.
That makes no sense. Never mind. But yeah, they're a family. They have to come together. You can't just like separate. And do your own thing. You gotta work as a team, bro. There's no I in team, bro.
It's a philosophical.
But there is an Emmy in that motherfucker.
There's an I in win though, so I don't know. Maybe Jalen Brunson gonna pass the ball. We'll see. We'll find out. If he wants to take it to his own hands,
Oh my God! Just pick who's winning.
I think Spurs would win, low key. But I want Knicks to win. I would pray to God.
That's good though.
Well, respectfully, if the Knicks win, there's gonna be no Madison. There's gonna be no Madison Square Garden next year, bro. If the Knicks win, just know that. Like there's gonna be.
I'm gonna sacrifice the guard.
There's gonna be no Manhattan. The island is gonna. The man-made island is just gonna sink, bro, and then everybody's gonna go to like Queens and like Staten Island or something like
And
that.
everybody's gonna be going over the Long
Maybe
Island.
QBS. Maybe QBS is gonna be the new arena. I don't know.
QBS?
Yeah, imagine that.
Yes.
Imagine did the Long Island Knicks.
UBS. Yeah, UBS. Not QBS. Oh my God, I'm bugging. Yo, don't. Yo, cut that part out.
Bella, if you're watching this, your friend's.
What is this?
Tony.
Why do you have a pump shotgun from Fortnite? Where's the picture?
Okay.
Right here.
Is that your prediction? Are we done?
Yeah.
Anything else to say about this?
Go Knicks. Yeah.
Okay. I think that was all, guys. Thank you for watching this long video. If you stayed till the end, we appreciate you. Thank you to Gabe, obviously, recurring guest. Get off Brawl Stars.
Now, bro.
And thank you to our, good friend here, Augie. Hopefully he was a little treat for you guys at the end here to watch.
Alright, but yeah, today is April 17th, 2026, Friday at 3:25 p.m. We're clocking out. See you guys later.
Okay. Thank you guys for watching. We hope you enjoyed our predictions. Comment down below who you think's gonna win. Knock on wood. Need a Knicks championship in my lifetime, but only you want hope and pray.
Yep.
Does it count if the East, if they win like the East Conference, is that considered championship still?
Fuck no.
Nope.
I want the real thing, man.
Exactly.
Thank you guys for watching.
All right.
See you next episode.
Cream of Prince!
Hey, I'm recording the podcast with Gavin. Yep, alright, I'll see you in a second. So, here's our 411 roommate, Augustine Magapan. Say with hello.
What does the mic work like?
Don't eat my mic.
Why you say it like that? Why am I called a little treat, bro? What's that supposed to mean?
Fine, big treat. I call you little, I call you big. Yo, he's still got a problem.
You do a cat impression.
Oh yeah, it's like Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah, baby.
FCC.
Yeah. But that'd be fun to watch, like get like a burger, sit down and about it. He's getting stronger.
It's going in.
Well, I didn't expect him to drop a big load on that one.
You were suppressed to record.